Welcome guys, another day, another story. World War I and World War II were two of the most devastating conflicts in human history. They had far-reaching impacts on the world, including political, economic, social, and cultural consequences. In this script, we will explore the causes, events, and consequences of each war in more detail. World War I. Causes. The immediate cause of World War I was the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand of Austria-Hungary by a Serbian nationalist in 1914. However, the underlying causes were much more complex. These included a complex web of alliances, arms races, and nationalism. In the early 20th century, European powers were competing for colonial territories, resources, and markets. They formed alliances to protect their interests and gain an advantage over their rivals. By 1914, Europe was divided into two opposing camps, the Triple Entente, France, Russia, and Britain, and the Central Powers, Germany, Austria-Hungary, and the Ottoman Empire. Tensions were high between these two camps, and a small incident, such as the assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand, was enough to ignite the powder keg. The complex system of alliances meant that a conflict between two countries could quickly escalate into a world war. Events. The war lasted from 1914 to 1918, and involved many of the world's major powers. The war saw trench warfare, new technologies such as tanks and chemical weapons, and massive casualties. The war's early battles were characterized by mobility, but soon the armies became bogged down in a system of trenches stretching from the English Channel to the Swiss Alps. The war saw many battles, including the Battle of the Marne, the Battle of Jutland, and the Battle of the Somme. The war also saw new technologies such as tanks and airplanes being used for the first time in a conflict. The use of chemical weapons, such as mustard gas, was also introduced. Consequences. The war resulted in the deaths of millions of soldiers and civilians and left many more injured or displaced. The Treaty of Versailles, which ended the war, imposed harsh penalties on Germany and created the League of Nations to prevent future conflicts. However, the treaty's terms sowed the seeds for World War II. World War II. Causes. The causes of World War II were numerous, including the Treaty of Versailles, which left Germany feeling humiliated and angry, and the failure of appeasement policies in the face of Nazi aggression. The immediate cause was Germany's invasion of Poland in 1939. In the 1930s, Germany, under the leadership of Adolf Hitler, began a campaign to expand its territory and influence in Europe. Hitler's aggressive policies led to the annexation of Austria and the Sudetenland, a region of Czechoslovakia. Britain and France followed a policy of appeasement, hoping to avoid another war by giving in to Hitler's demands. However, when Hitler invaded Poland in 1939, Britain and France declared war on Germany, and World War II began. Events. The war lasted from 1939 to 1945, and involved much of the world, with the Axis powers, Germany, Italy, and Japan, fighting against the Allied powers, Britain, France, the Soviet Union, and the United States. The war saw massive battles, such as Stalingrad and D-Day, and the use of atomic bombs by the United States against Japan. The war saw many atrocities, including the Holocaust, in which Nazi Germany killed 6 million Jews and other minorities. The war also saw the rise of new technologies, such as radar, jet engines, and rockets. Consequences. The war resulted in the deaths of millions of soldiers and civilians and left much of Europe and Asia in ruins.